Welcome everyone. We'll talk about the balance scorecard and the implementation thereof in this particular video. Exactly speaking, what is balance scorecard? We will be having a brief overview about it. How are we interested? Why should we look forward towards it? And what do we do from here? Harvard Business Review, way back in 1992, approximately 30 years from today. Robert Samuel Kaplan and David Peter Norton. R.S. Kaplan and David P. Norton is what they have propounded this theories of balanced scorecard. Is nothing but basically trying to figure out how organization is progressing, what is happening to the organization, is it on the right path or not. Successful strategy implementation, widespread acceptance of balanced scorecard is the prominent reasons for it. Now, why balanced scorecard? Because still balanced scorecard up till 1992, every company wanted to show its efficacy in terms of the revenue that they are generating, in terms of the financial parameters they are generating. But Robert S. Kaplan and David P. Norton stated that we are not only interested in the revenue, but also probably from different perspective, as in non-revenue methodologies, as an internal customer, as in the learning and growth, as in customer satisfaction, internal process thereby. So there are basically four characteristics, and if you look into it, I have just shown you the photographs out there, and the manifestation that has been there, which has been done out here. Every manifestation of each of the faces, each of the emotion that comes around it. What are we looking out here? Top down reflection from the firms, forward looking, internal and external measures, and one thing that tries to make you stay focused towards your goal. And that are the four characteristics that we are trying to do it. Whether we are sad, we are happy, we are angry, probably all the carefree attitude that we might come across with it. The pay for performance theory is what we are looking out here. Please understand it very slowly and steadily. The mission is the reason why the organization is in existence. The mission needs to be achieved through certain core values, certain visions, certain strategies. And pay for performance is what you are interested. Why are you should be there part of that particular organization. Now we are talking about pay for performance, the strategic initiatives. How do you contribute towards achievement of the mission or the overall objective of the goals, and your personal objective? Does the organizational goals and your objective matter? First and foremost is why, what do we do to exist as the existence of the company, thereby company's values, believes in the vision that it wants to be perceived as, and how the company needs to be understood by the general public, the strategies accordingly. You need to plan your strategies, plan your growth. Obviously, yes, money is one of the best motivators for a person to be associated with a group and contribute towards its profitability. What do we need to do? Strategic initiative and the personal objective. This is what is most important, as in it helps you to align the reasons for your association. Now, what does this leads to? There are basically four outcomes that comes around it. First is a happy client. If everyone is aligned with it, then we have an effective process because everybody is working in tandem, in coordination with one another. When everybody is working toward with one another, that means they are automatically motivated and satisfied partners per se. Steps to success. First, define clearly business strategy, as in written, communicated, and supported by the IT plan, as the case might be. We are talking about the absolute define business strategy. Step two, find a way. Communicate strategies, measure success, motivate, and reward. So, can you successfully execute the strategies? First thing, foremost thing, you need to understand barriers to success. What are the barriers that comes around? Vision barrier. Most employees don't understand the business strategies. Employee represent the key sets in knowledge-based business. Communicating and understanding the keys to success is one of the most important thing. Now, what I meant looking at as a vision barrier, people fail to perceive things that is going to happen in due future. This is one of the most reason why things does not materialize at all. You need to understand this. So vision barrier, should everybody, I might be able to see the future 10 years hence, but my co-workers is unable to see it. As a result, he or she gets demotivated altogether, or there is a misunderstanding between me and my co-workers, for example. So that is what is a vision barrier is all about it. People barriers are something which are inherent in the people, as people look everything with a suspicious or with a drawback in mind. The negativity overwhelmingly actually diminishes the positive attributes altogether. God knows why. Is compensation linked to a performance? Is performance measured in the right way? People are doubting all the way. Does compensation reinforces achieving strategic objective? People doubt, people have confusion, people have negative thoughts around it, and that is what the people barrier is all about it. The third one is a resource barrier. Has ample amount of fund been available? Is ample amount of resources, technologies is at your disposal? Now, these are the things that needs to be understood as resource barriers. If not, then what happens? So, how a budget related to strategy, whether a long term or short term, and what are the measures and evaluations thereby about it? And then we have something called a management barrier, the last and the most important one. What is the management looking for? Is it looking at scheduling? Is it looking at cost controlling? Is it looking at performances? What is it that it is measuring, trying to measure and figure out? This is what the financial results and beyond is all about it. This is where exactly the balance scorecard comes around here. Balance scorecard is all about the four perspective of finance, customer, internal business process, and learning and growth. And if you look into it from the Harvard Business Review, there are only four things that needs to be done: objective, measures, target, and initiative. Be it finance, be it customer, be it learning and growth, and or internal business process. If you have these four criteria met, written down, there are more of a clarity and understanding. Financials is increasing the firm profit. Yes, that's what the fundamental thing, even prior to balance scorecard. Increasing client profitability, increasing leverage, personal technology services, increasing employee earning per se. Then we have something called client development. Now, this is where the client profile needs to be understood. Your co-vendors needs to be profitable so that they contribute towards your success. The average revenue, cost to obtain, cost to retain, lifetime value. We need to understand those client service and can you help them mitigate those problems if possible. Then it's all about the internal employees. The internal employees are revenue that people are generating from per FTE, full-time employees, days in WIP or AR, or unaccounted work in process as in inventory, or unaccounted receipt for actual receipt that goes around it. Now, these are unaccounted for. So what are my internal processes? What if I've delivered certain products and the money is still to come? That's unattended revenues, resources that, or I have produced certain goods or WIP, work in progress, and these things are yet not been shipped out. Now these is what is blocking my capital. Now we are looking to improve upon it, turnaround time, maintaining quality, and that is what we should be striving for. Talking about learning and growth is defining core competence. We are talking about defining standards, policies, procedures, developing a training curriculum, developing a personal training plan if required, mentoring, cross training. What can be done? How can we do around it? These are the things that needs to be understood time. Information technology is an internal business process, only part of one out of the four perspective, integrated with all components, driven by business objectives, success measured by business result, and you need to evaluate your own priorities and successes thereby as what needs to be done. So one of the major things that I wanted to stress about is no more than four performance measurement in either of the categories or in each of the categories. Just four. One, two, three, four. Beyond four, it is just going to confuse us and probably reduce the importance thereby. So, how do we proceed? Let us talk about performance objective. Remember, we have already said about what are the objective, what needs to be measured, what are the indicators, and what are the result that comes around it. So, performance objectives exactly what needs to be measured. Performance is how we go about measuring this. There are only two indicators that we look into it: leading and lagging. So let us understand increase revenue per full-time employees. How do we measure is revenue per staff. Increase client satisfaction and loyalty. How do we do it? Probably through a survey or visitation, actually taking a feedback. Let us talk about objective of improving staff training. Now, how do we go around it? What are the individual training plans that comes around? What are the tasks accomplished? How many how many training did the individual had in last 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years? Probably. Streamline internal processes, number of processes reviewed, number of the processes being documented per se, as the case might be. Affect client retention in an excess of 95%, causes us timelines, customer service, relationship building. Now, what are we looking at it into it is these sentences. If we can complete, if such and such thing happen, then what do we do? Now that will help us to understand the cause and effect relationship. There is a direct relation between cause and effect. Timeline, customer services, relationship building per se. Indicators are causes and effect. Number of proposal outstanding, let's say, outstanding, proposal outstanding, AR, the receipts are not been there. Effect, does it impact our net income? Definitely. Number of sales calls, probably yes. If you have more number of sales calls, what does it mean? That does it means we can have a reduced WIP or AR, unaccounted work in progress or unaccounted receipt altogether? Defined improved process, can does it impact the market share? Does it improves or decrease? What does defined improved process is all about it? We are the causes is absenteeism. Absenteeism, people are absent. Does it impact the sales? Does it employ the employee satisfaction? Definitely yes, that comes around it. So these are the things that needs to be having as far as indicators are concerned. Let us look at implementation. Critical success factors, or should I say indicators for financial measurements. Now, revenue per full-time employee aligned with industry metrics. Now, this is what is happening with your company, and now can we understand what is happening with the best of the companies, the benchmark. So, increased revenue for per full-time employees is somewhere around $120. Then comes build new revenue sources, as in increase the number of sources from where you can do businesses, or probably revenue sources, probably the other price points that needs to be understood. Now that is what external consulting is all about. It increase revenue in consulting divisions by 25%. So if we are doing something good, can we extend a consulting division, open up a consulting division, and let us try to have approximately one-fourth of the revenue coming from the consulting division, because we are extremely doing something good in our organization. Average rate per hour, that are at market rate, can we increase the rate per hour to an average of $80 per hour? This is where we are trying to differentiate ourselves from the rest of the market, and these are the critical success factors altogether. Let us look into the increasing net promoter client service score, as in who are the promoters, who are the founders, who are the business leaders out there. Can the service score be increased, score from 5.8? So improve net clients promoter client score to 7 in the year 2010, 20, 30, 40, approximately years that we going to go around it, from 5.8 to 7. That means an increase of 1.2 points. Increase time spent with top clients, top 20% of the clients, because top 20% is going to provide you 80% of the businesses. So complete uh, documentation of standards, conversation with the top 20%, everything that needs to be there. Increase service offering to the top 20% of the client. Cross sell one new customers to 25% of the firm's existing clients. Let us understand about consistent paperless process. Can we go digitalize everything? Can we have some develop written paperless processes and decrease the paper consumption by 25%? This is what needs to be done. Owner, manager, communication firm wide to be strengthened, as in decentralization. Implement a consistent owner monthly meeting and give them the liabilities or assign responsibilities to the certain number of people. Increase ability to segment the client market, thereby research and implement a CRM, customer relationship management system, by, let's say, a definite date. Each team member has a learning abilities. Now this is what we need to understand. Everybody should improve in their career. So develop a learning plan for each team member by such and such date. Consistent ongoing training for all staff. Implement a monthly lunch, let's say learning book club. Similarly, for team members, have a peer interactions and coaching. Assign a peer mentor for every staff member at every different location, at every possible location per se, and this will lead you to a higher productivity. Why? Because of a higher morale among the employees. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video till the end.